Well, how's everyone doing tonight?
Doing good. Peter, how was your vacation?
All right, man, we had a great time.
Yeah.
We had a great time. Several days sitting in an old school log cabin, making sure there was enough wood on the fire, doing nothing.
Was it a real wood burning fire?
Yep.
Oh, man.
How
Nice.
was Miss Karen? Did she enjoy it?
Oh, yes. We had a wonderful time. She knitted and crocheted like all these things. Well, it's like she was extremely productive.
Nice.
More productive than me. I did a lot of reading.
How many times you get your feet down?
2.
2.
Yeah. I actually had to go to the store twice to buy more wood.
I was actually wondering, is it something where you could split and cut wood, or do you have to buy
He's
wood?
gonna buy a cord of wood, man. He ain't.
Come on, man. You want to go out there and just split some wood.
I honestly, if there had been some rounds out there, and maybe an axe and a sledge and maybe
You've
a
been
wedge,
pumping
something like
iron.
that,
You're ready for it.
I would have done it. I would have done it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that kind of vibe. They had a wood box outside, and so they had it's chock full of wood, but it got really cold.
Yeah.
And
it'd have been dangerous, if you've been out there chopping some wood.
I know.
Your wife might have seen you out there.
I know. I know. She would have seen those rippling muscles.
Seen that testosterone.
Peter would have had to dance behind closed doors.
He would have, yeah.
That's it. So, that's it.
And both of Peter's kids just clicked off the podcast.
That's exactly right. No, anyway, we did have a really good time.
That's awesome.
And the cabin was awesome.
That's great.
It was up on a hillside, and it was like it was legit hard to keep warm. It had a heating unit inside of it, but it was
a little drafty.
Yeah, they told us ahead of time. They said, "Now you call us if you need. We'll put plenty of wood out there." And they actually brought some by one day and stuff. So it was awesome. And I got some reading done. I read about half of my best friend's book, Unseen Realm, and so we got all that kind of stuff going. And so I'm back. I'm rip roaring, ready to go.
You're rejuvenated,
Yes, I
man.
am.
Yeah, you had a little extra pep in your step when you came in.
That's the truth. I got a lot of sleep and ate some good food. We cooked right there in the cabin. It was fabulous.
Did you stay on your regular sleep schedule?
No. Actually, I slept a lot more. I slept a whole lot more. I actually, I got all these streaks going with my fitness app and all that kind of stuff. I broke them all. It's like, I don't even care.
Man,
I don't care.
Yeah, you need to rest.
You need to take time off.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just, it would say, you have time to complete your ring. And it's like,
Nope,
no, I
not
don't.
today.
Yeah. So
Not today. Yeah. Well, you guys have time to
yeah.
hit that like button and hit subscribe and comment below. We appreciate all the comments. We had some great ones on
did.
our last one. I do. Like I said, I just get a kick out of them. Like Amber, Penny, all y'all. We love the comments.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're getting a little bit of conversation going.
Yep.
I
And
love
that's
it.
what we want.
I love it. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Peter, he coined torquing.
Torquing. Yep.
That's a new thing, torquing.
Yep.
Torquing.
And I told them I wanted to add, torquing, whatever you want to call it.
No, this is torquing from now on.
Torquing.
Ambigiggity,
torquing, yep. Behind closed doors, you married couples do all the torquing you want.
That's exactly right. Yes. Yes,
No judgment from us.
You might have a dinosaur.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking, why don't you fire us off?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did the general keep his armies?
The general keep his armies.
I have no idea.
Up his sleeveys.
I was like not thinking that way at all.
Okay.
Yeah, up his sleeves.
Oh, that's so stupid.
I was trying to think of. I was like a battalion.
That's where I went.
Yes.
Yeah. The answer is always more simple than
It is.
Good
Yeah,
job.
I was overthinking that.
Good
I
job.
like it. I like it.
All right. So what are we talking about tonight?
Well, first of all, I want to know what you all think of our new logo.
Yes.
I love it.
It's fresh. It's out there.
Now, can they see it? Where all can they see it?
Okay, so YouTube will not let me upload the image to the thumbnail there because it's too high of a resolution.
I can fix that.
I figured you could.
Yep. Send that to me.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. Well, it's on Dropbox,
Yeah.
so if
Okay.
you want to download it and
Gotcha.
convert it,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I can.
So
fix that.
we'll have that this week. So
Yep.
but we want to know what you think about it because I think it's pretty good.
I do too.
Pretty good.
I almost jumped the gun and started printing up mugs and stuff.
I know.
I was like, I want some now.
Dude, it is. I
like
think
it.
it's pretty sick. Yeah, and it's like we said, look good on a coffee cup, some stickers,
Yeah.
hats. Yeah, I'm ready to have
T-shirt.
some. Yep.
I will adorn a black T-shirt with the logo.
See, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Say
Absolutely.
scuba line across the back of
That's
it.
what we need. We need to do that.
Yeah.
We need a little collage of all the words that we've explored.
We do.
Get a dinosaurs.
We
Yes,
do. It's
exactly.
gotta. I feel like we can put the logo on the chest, but the back of it,
Yeah.
it needs to have
Yeah.
our personality
I
in
think
there.
you're right. Yeah, I think so too.
If y'all have ideas, comment them below.
Yeah,
We'd
for
love
sure.
to hear them.
For sure.
And while you're doing that, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button,
Yep.
Absolutely.
the follow button,
Yep.
the bell, ring the bell,
Yep.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that
Great.
you will stay in our little community, stay connected.
Click
all this
everything
stuff.
but the thumbs down.
That's
That's
right.
it. Don't
If
do
you're
that
gonna
one.
do that, then just click the X and just get off the
No,
page.
just don't do
boom.
that. Just
Yeah,
give us
exactly.
the view and don't
Yeah.
pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you give us 5 stars, we will give you 5 stars.
That's right. Yes. So I feel like we almost should have done this one from Vegas.
We should have. Yeah, we need to do some on location. We need to do one at the tattoo parlor.
I'm down.
We're gonna go to the witch. What was it? The Bell Witch.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adams, Tennessee. Yeah. That's
Yep.
exactly right. And we thought about Transylvania, but that might be too expensive.
Yeah, unless the church wants to take like a fund up for us.
Maybe we should
Mission
do.
trip.
Hey, maybe we should do one from Nashville, your old stomping grounds.
Yeah, we yeah.
Yep.
And this one, I mean, shoot. Flights to Vegas are cheap, right?
They are.
Hey, let's go.
They are.
we should
I was
have.
trying to get Pat to go, but what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks
If
ago?
I wasn't committed to some loser's class, I would have went. I'm
I know.
dedicated to my
I know.
pastor.
Yes,
You know,
yeah. Yes.
how
exactly
dare
right.
I?
Yeah, he's committed. He should be committed.
I have been a couple times.
Well, there you go. No, actually, this episode reminds me of a song.
Okay.
You got to know when to hold 'em,
Classic.
All right.
know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away. That's my favorite line. Know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the deal is done.
Nobody knows when to walk away, though.
No, that's the problem. Today we are talking about gambling.
When you run away, is that like, are the people in the casino chasing you at that point?
Oh, no, they don't chase. No, because there's another sucker that's coming in right behind
Yeah.
you.
And
They don't
Kenny
care.
Rogers was
Yeah.
no stranger to trouble.
That's exactly right. Oh, boy.
Oh,
yeah, we did
Kenny.
some shows with him. He was very interesting. Yeah.
Was he wild?
No, he was not wild. He was very nice, very cordial. And he'd had so much plastic surgery, it looked like he was surprised all the time.
Yeah, man.
So you never knew what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Ooh, same
No.
expression
Why
all
do
the
they
time.
do that? It looks weirder than just aging.
I know. I
Would this be?
completely agree.
This should have been part of our body modification.
That should have been.
We should have gotten
Plastic
into that.
surgery.
But it was an hour and 45 minutes already. So, we could have done a
I
whole
don't
lot
think
on
that it's bad, but it's just weird. Weird
See,
looking.
If we went to Vegas, we would see a little bit of all of that.
Oh,
Yes.
we would. Yes, we would. Body modification right up there, right up in front of you. So, anyway, I grew up just knowing that gambling was evil. It was a sin.
Always heard the same.
You
yeah.
know, we used to have these little punch card kind of things, where you buy the little thing and you take the little thing and poke the papers out and and you unroll them and everything. That was evil. It was totally evil.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Can't do that because if you're winning money, it's the devil's money.
Oh.
Yeah. You
Okay.
can't do that.
I always had
Huh?
heard the
Come on.
same. Even honestly, like the lottery was always
Yeah. Lottery. Yeah.
And they started doing. It was funny because I feel like Tennessee was like, how can we? Because we're in the Bible Belt, so like, how can we make this not of the devil?
It's education fund.
So yeah, it's like
I'm
the
not
Hope
gambling.
Scholarship.
I don't buy lottery tickets. I donate to the education system.
That's
and they
right.
It's a raffle at that point.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. So,
Yep.
right off the bat, Pat, do you think that gambling in and of itself is ungodly, sinful, evil, whatever?
In of itself, no.
Okay.
That's just my stance.
What about you?
I'm the same. You know, if you're just going to say gambling as a whole, not the love of money or something,
Yeah.
then I'll say no,
But-
it's not a sin.
Full disclosure, I've never gambled at a casino or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking from
Have you ever
Not from
like
experience.
bet somebody $5 they could
of
jump
course,
over?
of course. I've never
You gambling son of a gun.
I'm a piece of scoogleon. I've
Yes.
never formally,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
a casino or anything.
Yeah.
So
I got me some scratch off tickets though.
let's define our terms right off the bat.
Yeah,
All right.
so I gotta know what we're talking about.
Okay, so what exactly is gambling? So, according to this article, it has 3 basic components.
Okay.
First, there is a game which involves chance.
Okay.
Got to be chance. So like if it's gaming, something like that. I mean, you can be really skillful at that. You build your skill, and you can win through skill. So
Yeah.
this has to be chance.
So
Football,
so would it be
dog
like
racing.
a sporting event
Yep.
you're not participating in?
Yeah. Chicken fighting.
Yeah, I'm cockatrice fighting. That's got to be on the t-shirt too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We need a cockatrice on the shirt.
Yeah, for sure. Second, there's an amount that you wager on the outcome of the game.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Third, there's a prize you're hoping to win with your wager. Would we all agree?
Yep.
Okay, so you could lose it all. It'd be like burning dollar bills, or you could make more than what you started with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, gambling has taken many forms throughout history, from ancient games of dice and cards and animal fight bets to contemporary Vegas blackjack tables, state lotteries, and sports betting apps. We're going to talk about those in a little bit.
Do you
So-
want to know the origin? I did find the.
Yeah. Tell
All
us about it.
So I did pull. I was doing my little Googling here.
So I'm guilty of the scratch ticket so far.
Okay, so I think the original instance of gambling was when Eve was holding that fruit in the garden.
That's actually, that could be it. I think you may be right.
We don't know the exact language. What if she went to him and said, "I bet you won't take a bite"?
Yeah.
What did it cost you?
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah. Well, it says gambling dates back at least to the Paleolithic period before written history. In Mesopotamia, the earliest 6-sided dice date to about 3000 BCE. However, they were based on astrology dating back thousands of years earlier. So gambling is very old.
I guess it is.
So maybe it is Eve that kicked this thing off.
Whew, it might be. It might be.
I wonder if Moses is like, "All right, when are we leaving?"
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nope, not today. The Lord didn't answer.
So you can engage in gambling for enjoyment.
Okay.
You can be a professional gambler.
Okay.
Even gambling enthusiasts usually recognize that a dangerous couple of lines that can be crossed are things like problem gambling and gambling addiction.
So this brings up a good question. So people playing cards at home with chips that have no money value except for fictional value, they're just playing for the fun of the game.
gonna say, that
would
wouldn't
be
be
completely okay, right?
Yeah, I feel like it.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, there's all kinds of things in life that we gamble on.
Yeah.
It's basically taking a risk to see if you can get a better reward.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's called driving in Tipton County.
Yeah,
Would
that's
that,
for sure.
all right, that's got me thinking. What about with what I do for a living?
Oh, that's a gamble.
Farming, I'm putting a significant amount of money into the ground in hopes that it will yield higher of what I've spent. Wouldn't that be pretty much gambling?
It kind of is, except for the fact that there is a level of skill involved.
Yeah.
Because you can do it wrong,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and then you can do it better than somebody else.
Yes.
Right. But still, there is an
So
element
it's
of
not-
chance in there.
So to be true gambling, does it have to be all chance?
All right. Well, according to this, a game which involves chance, an amount you wager on the outcome, and a prize you're hoping to win
Yeah.
if everything
Okay.
turns out okay.
So it's got to be a game.
Yeah. So the first question I wanted to ask is there gambling in the Bible other than even Adam in the garden? So the only thing that comes close would be casting lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's referenced a lot of times. In fact, they cast lots in the Old Testament, and
Jonah.
Yeah, Jonah for sure. Numbers, First Chronicles, temple officials cast lots, but most of the time, well, actually, they cast lots. Remember to see who would replace Judas.
Yep, and they also cast lots to see for the tribes where their land.
And also, the soldiers cast lots for Jesus' garment.
Who did they get, by the way? Matthias?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never hear about him.
That's
do you?
right.
Yeah.
Bad roll, man. Bad roll.
Okay.
Didn't hit the 7.
Yeah, exactly. But the kind of the difference there is casting lots in biblical times was more to get direction from God, or in the case of non-followers of Yahweh, direction, guidance from the gods. So you throw the sticks down or you throw the dice down, something like that. If it turns a particular way, then there's your answer.
So it's like playing a Ouija board.
Kind of, sort of. It kind of, sort of is.
So flip a coin. If God wants it to be you, it'll be tails. If God wants it to be you, it'll be heads.
There you go.
Okay. All right. You heard it right here. Peter said that's what we do.
There it is. There it is, right there. Okay, so this guy says straight out, is gambling a sin? Here are 2 unhelpful answers.
Okay, I like those.
Right?
Yeah, we'll start with the unhelpful answers.
I'm full of those.
So 2 unhelpful answers to is gambling a sin are a simple yes or no. If I say yes, gambling is a sin, as some do, even a few hypothetical responses show that I wouldn't have an airtight case at all. So it's a sin to buy a raffle ticket to support a fundraiser for cancer cures.
Yes.
Well, that complicates it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to do these things in church.
Yep.
They were called cakewalks.
Yeah.
You've done a cakewalk?
Yep.
I mean, is that not gambling? Right
Yeah.
there in the church house, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm allergic to some fruit. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
I couldn't even get it out.
so you're saying it's wrong to bet on fantasy football as a way of connecting with guys at work?
Like I say, it gets a lot trickier.
I know. We used to have these.
A little flat and a little curve there.
Yes, exactly right. Next thing you know, you'll be out on the asphalt. But we used to have these little pools, office pools,
Yeah.
things like that. So there'd be like all the games that were coming up, and you put your, $1 here, 50 cents there, something
like
like
March Madness or something.
And then like if it come to the Super Bowl, you'd have, the whole grid and so many, and so then somebody at the end of it would come away with like, $100 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I don't
sin.
know. Well, it might be. It might be. I don't know.
If I never win, it's a sin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give 10%
But
to the
see,
church.
There you go. There you go.
That's how you make it right.
Yeah.
I thought about selling cocaine, but I mean, I'd give 10% to the church.
Well, of course. Yes, absolutely. Go for it, man. Just don't
5%,
expect.
5% atonement fee.
Just don't expect me to use that then for bail money. You're on your own. Okay, so but here's the other thing. When it comes to things God doesn't give us black and white answers on, the light switch metaphor doesn't work the other direction either. Just because we can't declare gambling is a sin doesn't mean that we can say, therefore, gambling isn't a sin.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So let's compare this topic to some of our other topics. Now, so some of the topics we didn't expect to get any pushback on. We found, there's a lot of danger zone.
Yeah.
Others, we sort of assumed it was like horrible, and it turns out, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so where does this fall on the spectrum, do you think? Just sort of face value. I mean, we're going to unpack this a whole lot more, but does it feel like, okay, danger zone, or is it like, what is the big deal? Why are we talking about this? Kind of like the rock music and the dancing last week.
Man, to me, I mean, I feel like it kind of, to me, it falls in the alcohol kind of category to a degree where, I almost feel like, because there are people that get so obsessed with it that they almost lose clarity of mind in the pursuit of, I got to make this money, I got to make more, got to do this. I don't know. To me, I kind of feel like there's that balance there. What's your reasoning? Are you doing it for fun?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to do this for fun. Or is it like you're so truly in love with money that it's like, I have got to gamble. I've got to win this money.
What do you think, Pat?
Intention.
I'm gonna
Right.
I'll fall on the intention side as well, just from not knowing any better on this topic. And this is why, because there's obviously people out there who have a gambling problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they'll mortgage their house or whatever. You know? But there's also people that will go down there fully prepared to take $200 and just lose it.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to spend $200 and have some fun.
Yeah.
You know, and if I win, I win. If not, you know, $200 to the casino, whatever. And I get that too. So I'm going to land on intention right now.
Well, that's what I did. You know, I was telling y'all when I went to Vegas, I had $20.
Just to
and
say,
I was like,
just to say you did it.
yeah,
And
I
you
was like,
sinned with it.
I did. I was like, I have $20. I am going to go sin with this $20.
But I'm only getting $20 worth of sin. It's
I'll
not
tell you,
that
yeah,
bad.
and it was a really fast sin because that $20 was gone really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so you only had to repent for like
That's right.
30
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, God, I'm such an idiot.
Oh man, that's
I was like, if this is what you want me to
Yes.
do, turn this into several thousand
Yeah,
dollars.
exactly right. Yeah.
the lot did not fall in your favor.
Lord, think about the orphans. Joel, just think about
Think of the church, God.
oh my Lord. There's going to be a lightning bolt coming through this ceiling at any time now.
I'm the only one in a metal chair. Calm down.
Yeah, we're grounded over here. Man.
I know. I'm good. Okay,
gosh.
so but here's the question that needs to be asked is why is gambling fun? Why is it fun? I mean, you can. I know why swimming is fun. I know why riding a bicycle is fun. I know why having a good meal is fun. What is the fun factor?
Risk.
For gambling.
I feel like it's like the unknown. It can rather go really good or really bad.
Yeah, it's the risk.
Yeah.
Why is Russian roulette so fun?
Hey, why is paper, rock, scissors fun?
Russian roulette is not fun. Where did you get that?
From the movie Deer Hunter. He has so much fun playing that movie or playing that game.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I saw that part. Yeah, I didn't see the whole movie.
No, and it actually ruins his life basically playing Russian roulette. But no, I think it's the risk. I just think it's.
Did you do you know about the guitar player for Chicago, the band Chicago, Terry Kath?
I know the band, but what?
Terry Kath was in a hotel room and they were playing Russian roulette, and that was the end of him.
That's what got him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boom.
Dang. I don't know what would. There's lots of gambling, like
That will kill a party, by the way.
I was gonna say, man, I mean, you gotta almost expect that to happen.
I've played that game where you gamble with bullets, and I'm not a fan. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
But that's risk.
Yeah, it is, but it wasn't a game.
Yeah, that's true. Not at the end.
Yeah, and I knew how much money I was getting out of it. The Army don't give you raises.
Good point. Okay, so
What do you think?
Well, this is the weird thing about it because I agree. There's a adrenaline rush.
Yep.
But see, here's where it kind of breaks down a little bit for me, is because what's the risk? You're risking losing money,
Yeah.
and you're hoping to win, and like you get all giddy in anticipation of what?
Winning more money.
Getting more money. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And so it really kind of, messes with my mind a little bit here because you're going, okay, all of this, the whole practice revolves around one thing, whether I lose money or whether I win money.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually do anything for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like,
You mean pulling the lever ain't work?
not when a 97-year-old woman can sit there and,
Hey, what's the equal
14
opportunity
hours.
employment here?
That's true.
For 12 hours.
I know.
Straight. I remember I went
It's not
out.
just the women. I'm not down with women, by the way.
It was
It's
only
just-
women. Oh,
Yeah, it was not.
no. When I left in the morning at Vegas, I went out of the casino that morning, and it was a lot of elderly people. They were sitting at the slot machines playing. I came back that afternoon, like it was probably 5 or 6 o'clock. The same people were at the same
Wow.
machines. I don't know that they moved.
That's stamina.
I know. Well, they
They
bring
had-
everything to you. You
Yeah.
want a sandwich, they'll
They
bring
had
it to
a
you.
porta potty, like a portable porta potty. They would wheel over there.
A portable. What's
That
a
would
portable
be-
porta potty?
That's I need to pitch that idea.
Yeah, that's like an ATM machine.
Yeah.
It'd be like, like the medical tent on the sideline for the football game.
Blue tent.
Like you put the blue tent over.
So they can keep their arm out and keep playing.
Yeah, it's got an armhole right there.
Yeah, it's the blue
That's
tent.
exactly right. Yeah.
Hey, there it is.
A blue tent with one armhole.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Somebody's going to hear that and they're going to do that.
Well,
absolutely.
I want my share.
That's it.
The portable porta potty.
Because you want to win more money.
That's right. I want that. But I'm providing a service of my idea.
That's right. That's exactly right.
See, now I'm scared to go to Vegas.
Yeah, I know.
It is seriously like a weird thing.
No, and they, you can prepay these cards, and you wear them around your neck with a little, kind of string, and you just, when you pull up until you're out of credits, and then you just swipe again, and you just keep pulling, and that's the way it goes. And they just sit there and do that.
And as long as you play, they'll provide alcohol.
Absolutely. Yeah, they just bring you any drink you want. Just keep them coming.
So what if you play like the penny slot?
It don't matter.
Don't matter.
So you can drink like $200 worth of booze off of like a roll of pennies?
Yeah, because the more intoxicated you get, the more likely you are to amplify that
I wonder if like
betting.
alcoholics go in and they're like, all right, man, I got $2. I'm getting wasted tonight.
Yeah, but
Probably.
But the problem is, then you're going to slide over to the nickel slots. And then you're going to slide over to the quarters. And then somebody's going to win on the silver dollar slots, and you're going, okay, that's where I need to be next.
Yep.
So next thing you know, you got your credit card out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yep.
And did you know that sometimes, I don't know exactly what time, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, when people are kind of getting a little bit tired, they start pumping oxygen into the room.
I think you had told me that. I had never heard that. That's crazy.
They start extra
Perk you up.
oxygen. Yep. It's like, I feel good. And so
let's go to Vegas, man.
See, keep going. Yeah.
I tried to get you to.
Yeah, I couldn't. This guy.
I know. He had to study the Bible.
Yeah.
You heathen. You should have gone gambling with me instead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The oxygen thing is pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But
that's why all the buffets are really cheap, and they got, as much as you want to eat. They just want to keep you in that atmosphere the whole time.
Fair enough. Yeah.
If you walk into, because I knew a guy one time, and he was like the Mac Daddy when he would walk into a casino. They were giving him hotel rooms,
really,
and all this, and my dad, because I was younger at the time, and I'm like, man, because they would talk about it. They'd be like, yeah, man, he got hotel rooms, and they'd give him steak dinners and all this stuff, and I said, man, he must win a lot at the casinos. And my dad was like, no, he's lost a fortune. He was like, that's why he gets
that's
what he
why
gets.
They want to keep him
They
there.
treat the guy like royalty because he's paid them a lot of zeros.
And see, like I feel like everyone says the same thing. Like, oh man, I go in, and if I hit right off the bat, I'm out. I feel like everyone says that, but no one does it.
No.
See, and this is the deal. I don't gamble.
Yeah.
That's not to say I have never gambled.
Yeah.
Not because I think it's necessarily morally wrong, although I'm having my doubts right now, but it's because I'm really bad at it.
Yes, me too.
Is there a good gambler?
Yeah, there are some.
Yeah.
Man.
You know what? Yeah, there's the poker tournament on ESPN.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen that.
And there are professional blackjack players who are, they're legit. They are card counters. They
don't
can sit there.
They run like 3 decks now, don't they?
Yeah,
Try
they
to
do.
Stop that. And if they start putting it together that you are counting cards, they'll come up and they will make you leave.
Yep.
Is it like the movie Casino where they'll like break fingers and stuff?
I don't know if they do that anymore.
I wasn't that good. I don't know.
No.
My $20 ran out so fast I never even made it to the blackjack table.
Exactly
you think I could just give them some money for me to come watch?
See,
I just want to see the crazy
and that's
stuff.
the other thing too. I've never played blackjack or roulette or craps because there's like a way to do it, and I don't know the way to do it, and I'm too embarrassed to say, okay, so what are you supposed to do now?
Yeah.
What do the red numbers mean?
They're like, just give us your money.
See, I love blackjack, but I didn't have the cojones to play. But now my dad, he's the same as me. He had never really gambled, and they were at like a casino one time, and he said some dude was over there. He walked over to the craps table, and he said this dude was playing. He said he kept hitting it on like black or something, and so my dad was like, put 5 on black, and he said, boom, it landed on red. And so he was like, all right.
Okay, I got 2 really good stories about gambling. Okay, so the worst thing that ever happened to me when it comes to gambling, I was playing with Rhonda Vincent, and we were in this small casino in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, way up north. It was cold outside.
South Canada.
February. Yes, it was. And so it was not a large casino, but it was, it was busy. And so we went in and they got us our rooms and they gave us this little package, this little basket, and in the basket was a bunch of goodies and some water and stuff like that. And there was a roll of quarters and they said, here's your first roll of quarters. So, we had supper and I thought, well, I'm going to go take my little roll of quarters and I'm going to go down and I just, I don't know nothing about nothing. So I sit down.
And you're not going to blow them on the vending machine. Come on.
No, that's silly. So I sit down at the quarter slots. And so I put in probably a couple of dollars worth. And almost immediately I win $350.
Did you walk away?
Hang on.
You didn't take Kenny's advice?
Well, I did not count my money while I was sitting at the table. Yeah. But I had this popcorn bucket full of quarters. I mean, full.
Felt like a king.
And so I thought, okay. Now, I'm smart now. I'm not going to sit at this slot machine.
Yeah, because you just hit it on there.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I probably hit every other quarter slot machine in the whole place.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, nothing. I walked out of there probably $30 in the negative. I blew through $380.
Yeah. Well, technically, you only spent 30 of yours.
That's right. Yeah. Well, actually 20 because
10. Yeah.
They gave you 10. That's right.
But, I was at a place where $20 was, I mean,
yeah.
Well, let me ask you, was it fun?
It was
you have
fun.
A good time?
That one time it was fun.
Was it chasing the rest of the time?
The rest of the time it was not really fun.
Did you ever go into when I was out there, I wanted to just say I did it. They had the high roller section.
Oh yeah.
And there wasn't as many people in there. And I was like, there was a part of me was like, oh, to walk in there and be like, put 100 down.
Yeah.
So just act like I was somebody, but I never did. Did you ever go into the high roller section?
No, I walked all the way around it. Because here's the deal, because that's apparently how I roll. Yeah. Because once I sit down, I'm not going to stop until, But
the high roller wouldn't be a bad one for you to go into.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You'd be calling Miss Karen like, our house is, we don't have a house anymore.
That's exactly
You're talking about a high roller section. I'd be like, where's the no roller section?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I limped in here.
Yeah, it's like, good news and bad news. Bad news is we have no house. Good news is I got one more roll. Yes. Anyway, the other story is about my brother. Now, me and my brother, we had a band together, and we got this. We were playing at this hotel, fancy hotel in Eastern Washington. So we had to drive across the mountain pass. It was in the middle of the winter, and so we ended up at this hotel. We played there for 3 weeks straight, and in the last week, they had this. The local Catholic church, no lie, had a casino night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the upstairs ballroom of the hotel that we were playing at.
Yeah. The Catholic Church.
Yeah. And so apparently they don't think it's a sin. But anyway, so we get up the next morning. We've torn down all of our gear. It's time for us to go home. We get up the next morning. Our car is full. The truck is already gone. And it's just me and my brother in a car full of stuff. And so I'm saying, okay. So I say, I'll take the first shift driving, but we got to stop and get some gas. And my brother says, well, here's the deal. He said, they had that casino night last night. And he said, me and Mike, the drummer, we were playing the roulette wheel and we were doing really good. And there was this really good looking girl that was operating the roulette wheel. And, I thought she was kind of into both of us maybe and one or the other of us. And, we were kind of, making conversation and we just sit there and he said, I got no money. I said, seriously, you have no money. I got no money. It's Sunday. The banks are closed.
Oh, man.
We can't even take our paycheck. And
yeah.
And so I said, well, I've got $11. I will put the $11 in the tank. And here's our strategy. We're going to drive as far as we can. And when it runs out of gas, we're going to call Dad and he's going to have to come and get us. And you're going to have to tell him why. Yeah. And so we had like a half a tank, maybe 3/4. And we got to go over a mountain pass with a car full of stuff. So I just started driving. I'm not happy. I'm like not talking to my brother. And so we're driving. And God intervened.
What happened?
We made it all the way home
Really?
on 3/4 of a tank of gas. It was like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we made it home.
Yeah.
We pulled into the driveway, and I said, "You suck." you like been praying or something, you know?
Y'all like coasted in on fumes in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually made it home. It's like I was all primed and ready. We were gonna, no
You
cell
couldn't
phones.
wait to be like, Dad,
Yeah, Dad,
what he did.
we're at a gas station right here, but we got no gas because my brother, your son just spent it all.
and
Gambled it all.
gambling. Gambling would have been a big no-no.
So apparently it's not always a sin. I don't know.
God told you to operate on faith, Peter.
Apparently I had very little faith at that point. So one thing we know though is that gambling can become an addiction.
Yeah.
And that's probably where I was headed up there at that casino. and the Lord stopped me short. So that is one of the negative things about gambling, and that's why for many people it is a sin.
Yeah.
Because. So I want to ask you guys. These are the questions that Gamblers Anonymous asks when people say, do I have a problem?
Okay.
Am I addicted?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what they ask you. Did you ever borrow to finance your gambling?
No.
Yeah, that would be bad.
That would be bad.
I would not be able to come in the house. I don't think.
I have heard apparently a lot of farmers are bad gamblers.
Really?
Yeah, they have a gambling, which most of us operate out of a line of credit. So we have access to a pretty large sum of money, but now you got to pay it back.
Well, sure.
But I have heard some stories of some farmers that have used their line of credit to go to casinos. And sometimes they do good and they can come back and they can pay their line of credit. And other times they burn through some lines of credit.
Man.
Oh, that's a bunch of scuba on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have never done that. I can thankfully say.
Yeah. Okay, so second question. Do arguments, disappointments, or frustrations create within you an urge to gamble?
No.
Yeah, I can't ever be like, you know what?
"Grr."
I've had a bad day. I just want to go spend some.
Yeah, it's like, dadgummit, my wife's driving me up the wall. I need to go hit a slot machine.
No. In fact, sometimes I think all my relationships are a gamble.
Yes.
All right. So, have you ever committed or considered committing an illegal act to finance gambling?
No.
No, just to finance farming, but not.
Yeah, which is kind of a form of gambling.
So yeah, I guess actually.
Maybe, yeah.
Are we talking about recreational crime or?
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever gambled to escape worry, trouble, boredom, or loneliness?
No.
Nah.
No, again, my career is such a gamble that I feel like it creates worry and loneliness and everything.
Yeah, there you go. But see, you're noticing a pattern here because you're thinking, okay, well, if I win the money, then I will feel better about my life, about my situation, about my frustration, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I see where it's going.
Yeah. Have you ever considered self-destruction or suicide as a result of your gambling?
Nah.
No.
No, me neither. I've felt despondence and despair when I lost that extra $30. That was, but nothing like this. Did you ever gamble longer than you had planned?
No.
No, like I said, my money ran out really fast.
Okay, I'm the bad one out of the deal. 'Cause yes, I did gamble longer than I had planned. Did gambling make you careless of the welfare of yourself or your family?
Well, I guess. I mean, I've wasted $20. Now, and I have bought scratch-off tickets that would be wasting. So, yeah, I guess kind of to a good degree.
Well, I would say no to that because, like, if my family is doing without, I'm not going to buy a $20
Well, that's
ticket.
true. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're addicted, then you will.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, absolutely. You're like,
exactly
man,
right.
does my kid need diapers or do I need this?
Yeah, if you're weighing those options, it's like, man, diapers or going gambling.
Yeah, but see, what you're thinking is, though, if I have a good night tonight, we'll have all the diapers.
Yeah,
exactly. We'll have all the diapers we need.
Yeah.
So this gets us to a very modern, new form of gambling, which is the sports betting apps.
Yes, they're advertised everywhere, but I don't know how to work them.
I don't either.
I've seen people like you got like so many leg parlays or so
But
many.
you know what? if you sign up, they will show you.
Yeah, I bet they will.
They will show you. They'll give you your first, $1,000 of bets free.
Yeah.
Well, if they give you your first $1,000 bets, can you just sign up and then cash out?
No, you have to use them as bets.
That's
here's
the
my
way to do it.
$1,000.
I'm just going to create a bunch of accounts and make like $6,000.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the problem is they're $1,000 worth of bets.
So you got to
Gotcha,
use them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. They're saying, you can't cash these in. You have to use them.
Gotcha.
You have to bet with them.
Well, that's
I'd have to watch sports to do that, so you wouldn't have to worry about me.
Well,
I watch sports, but I'm always wrong here recently.
But I'll tell you what, these apps can get you to watch sports.
Really?
Because, you can literally bet on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be something as...
Bet on curling.
Well, and it'll be weird, I know, because I got buddies that do the sports thing, and it'll be even very, it'd be a bet like, by the fourth quarter, so-and-so will have 27 yards. Yeah, and you can get really in-depth.
That's way too analytical for me.
Yeah.
I want to pick winners and losers.
But you're going to go past that, I guarantee you, because this guy, this is a little article by a guy who he's a Christian, and he got totally sucked into the sports betting app.
Yeah.
And the opening line of his article is, plus 100 odds for Joe Burrow to throw for 2 touchdowns. Where's my credit card?
Yeah.
Because it's saying, how could you lose?
What if Joe Burrow breaks his leg?
Which
That's happened.
broke his arm, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, first season he broke his leg.
That's true. He sure did.
And so he don't got a good track record.
And so there you go. You just lost whatever and and if it seems like a sure thing, then you're going to put more money on it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because this is a very interesting line. You'll like this. In an article on sports betting apps, Kim Henderson of World Magazine quotes pastor and marriage counselor Travis Turner as he voices his concern for the new generation of husbands and fathers. He says, with phones, you have 10 million prostitutes in your pocket. Now you have 10,000 bookies too.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's right.
That's accurate.
I know.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
I know. It says many are already addicted to video games, and adding a glitzy gambling aspect only makes for nitroglycerin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. As we have easy access to whatever we want.
To any pleasures, or they're there.
Yeah, it's things that will destroy your life. Yeah, we can
Yes.
destroy our lives in more ways than, Karen and I were in our little log cabin, and we trying to keep the fire going, make sure I said to her, I said, can you imagine like Little House on the Prairie? You build a house out of sod, right? Stack it up, and you have a little wood stove in the middle of it, and everybody's got to gather around the stove because there's no air circulation, and then when it gets nighttime, it just gets dark.
Yeah.
And then you got to go sleep somewhere and you're cold. So you got to bring extra quilts. And that's just your life,
Yeah.
Yep.
And so then, it's like, there's all kinds of different ways that your life could be destroyed. You could be like, eaten by an animal. You could fall off a cliff. You could, we've got that past. We can destroy our lives in a zillion creative
From
ways.
comfort.
Yeah, from comfort.
Yeah.
You could pretty much do it without ever leaving your home.
Because if you think about it, in the 1800s, we'll just say from a starting point and before, your number one priority is like, hey, what are you going to do today? Well, try not to die.
That's
And then,
That's right. Try not to contract some weird disease that everybody else has and stuff like that. Okay, so this is a very interesting opening to this article. Speaking about the sports betting apps, he says, okay, I'll admit it. The past year or so, I've been in the sights of every sports gambling company. You know their names. And I could only take so many haymakers being thrown at me about bonus bets or sign-up codes before I caved. Like many other borderline degenerate millennials, I enjoy sports. I also enjoy receiving money. Plus, I possess a severe addiction to thinking the Lakers will cover the spread every night. Boy, was I disappointed. And he says the two don't even have to be combined. I've been known to enjoy the occasional visit to a blackjack table, only to complain about how rigged it is. But I also want to honor God and not end up homeless, begging family members for cash, pleading with them that I knew a guy who knew a guy that predicted every Super Bowl winner correctly since 1994, and this would be my big break. That's where it starts, right?
Yeah. Sounds great.
I mean, there's a reason why their ads come on literally every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know? And I always think about this. Go into go into a town, they've got a casino. What's the best looking building in town?
A casino?
I was going to say, is it the casino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They got everything. I mean, it's a palace. Mm-hmm. And who makes the most money in town? Who's the biggest employer in town?
The casino. Yeah.
When you flew into Vegas, I stayed at the Luxor.
Yeah.
And it's the one that's got the big light.
Yeah.
Like, you literally fly into an airplane, you see this light, this beacon shine up.
Is that the pyramid one?
Yeah.
And so in any town, the best looking buildings are the banks and the insurance offices, because those are all the money goes there.
Yeah.
It just is. It's good to be in the banking business or the insurance business. Now, insurance people, don't come at me. I know that there are times when there's a disaster
and you need that insurance.
And you lose, you're writing checks right and left.
Yeah.
But by and large, if you're playing the long game, that's where all the money flows.
Yes.
And so same thing with the casinos. I mean, the house never loses.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And same thing with these sports betting apps. They are huge
Is that
business.
like this? I was trying to think of some FanDuel.
Yeah.
That's the other one I couldn't think of.
I was going to say, because I see these ads pop up.
DraftKings is the one I see the most.
DraftKings, I've seen that
I
one.
think that's like the preferred one of UFC.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's the one I see on there all the time.
Sounds right.
There's a bunch of them now.
What would this guy goes for he plays the odds. See, I feel like what would get me, I wouldn't be a good gambler, because I would be either all or nothing.
See, that's my problem.
I would go, I'd be like, who is the most absolutely not going to win guy? And I'd put my money on that dude, because I'd be like, if he wins, the odds are it's 1,000 times that he ain't going to win. And I'm going to cash out like a king. But I'd lose 99% of the time.
I like being a prophet after the fact. I told you it was going to knock him out. I should have put money on this.
I know.
I like doing that.
Hindsight's 2020. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to subject number 2 in just a second. But here, this guy has like a really cool way of looking at this, because he's a semi-degenerate millennial.
My people.
Yeah.
So he's kind of follows the same line. Gambling is not in and of itself a sin for everybody, but it can be.
Yep.
Yeah.
It can be.
If it consumes you.
Or if you just get sucked into it and go down the wrong path.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's the whole thing. So he says, ask yourself 3 questions. First question, why am I doing this? That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Because he quotes 1 Corinthians 10:23. We've quoted before. Everything is okay for me to do, but not everything is good for me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so he says, why am I betting in the first place? Is it just a fun thing to do with friends? Am I in a pinch with money, hoping this will help? Do I love the high when I get when I get 1 out of 7 of my bets to hit? Am I just bored? God calls us to be intentional with our entire lives, not just asking the question, why am I doing this? But then ask the question, is it good for me? Yeah. Is it good for anybody? So then the second question is, this is a good one too. Do people in my life know about this activity?
Yeah, if you're having to hide it,
then it's not good.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you've heard the phrase, show me your checkbook and I'll show you and I'll show you your priorities.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Show me your phone with your apps on it.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There it is.
We'll see. Proverbs 10:9, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. So question number 3. Well, he says this, if you are tempted to hide any habit in your life, especially from those who you think might disagree with you, it's likely a sign it might not be the healthiest thing for you.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. Third question, have I talked to God about it? And that sounds overly spiritual, but you remember, what my youth pastor used to tell me, said, if you're wondering if God approves of this or not, if it's a sin or not, ask the Lord to bless it, just like you do your food.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, okay. Lord, bless this next crank.
Yeah. I agree with that too, because the reason, and we can say this about anything. The reasons why we don't ask the Lord about certain things is because we know what He's going to say.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah.
So we're like, no, I didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess it's like a lot of things, you know. When it comes to money, you know, money is the most volatile, dangerous thing that you carry around with you every single day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It just is. You can do a lot of damage with money, and you sure can be careless with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I had to, you know, when I asked that question, you know, what is the fun of it? I think that's where I got to, because it's like, if the only fun is the possibility that, you know, a million times and one in a million times I might make $1 gazillion, that it doesn't seem as fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. Well, it's every person that gets into it has that thinking that, well, I'll be the one.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be the one. And that's how, you know, I told y'all off air that I had a good buddy that he was addicted to scratch offs.
Oh, yeah.
I had never seen that before. Like I had bought probably 2 scratch offs in my life. And the second scratch off I bought was a $10 scratch off, and I won $100.
Wow.
And if I were a smart man, I'd have stopped buying them. But I started going to lunch with my buddy that was addicted to them. So I was like, so I ended up buying several more, and I quickly just was like, these are not worth it. So I've stopped.
Here's the thing that's fun is when you get them as stocking stuffers. It's like, thank you for getting me nothing for Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah. You just scratch them off, and it's like, oh,
I'll tell you what isn't fun. I've never done this to anybody. Have you ever seen the fake one that says you won like $1 million?
Oh, yeah.
And they scratch it off, and the people are like, oh, and then you have to tell them like it's fake, and they're, man.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a scratch off and hit something big and be like, Peter told you, man. I was like, all right, no, bless this for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, and that's kind of, that is a good way of putting it. It's like, all right, what is the fun of actually doing this?
Yeah, for sure.
Because if the whole premise is like, well, just this money, I mean, it revolves around money.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like it ultimately revolves around money. Now,
And let's face it, the big thrill about it is getting money that you didn't have to work for.
yes,
That's what the fun part is. It's like all I had to do was pull this crank or, scratch this card.
Point to that number.
That's all I had to do, and I get, $1 million.
Now I do have a lot of fun in like if there's something real foul and nasty, and I'll be like, I bet you $5 you won't eat that, and like. And like we don't do this anymore. When I was a dumb kid,
That's what I call the stupidity bet.
Yeah, we would have like some nasty, put like sardines and garlic on a brownie or something, and be like, "Bet you $5 you won't eat that, or eat a jar of mayonnaise." And then those were fun bets.
Well, I mean, you get something in return beyond
yes,
your
That's a
money.
memory.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a memory.
Yes, that is.
But even if you win, it's just proven that the vast majority of large lottery winners end up worse off than they were before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if money is the goal, we've talked about it before. I can't help but look at these guys that, I got movie stars that I've like loved their movies, and then you see one of them and he kills himself.
Yeah.
Or musicians, and they're they have all the baddest cars.
Yeah,
they have
right
the
at their
biggest
birth.
house. They have an endless amount of and their bank account has so many zeros in it, and then they kill themselves.
Well,
They're so miserable.
I think a lot of this stems from the fact that we try to fill a hole in our life with something very tangible.
Yeah.
And that's just not how that works.
Well,
Some of us are blessed with more or less. Some of us will have more and lose it along the way. Some of us will lose stuff and get more along the way.
Yeah.
But I think it's also when we're trying to fill a brokenness with a material thing, regardless if we get all the material things in the world, it's not the right cure for the brokenness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so why don't we work on the brokenness first, and then anything material that does or may come is just extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing too: is if your ability to handle money dictates that your next hope is to gamble with it, then if you actually get it, then you're going to be still at the same level of money skills that you were before you got it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I tracked this one guy. He was in his early 20s and he won $1.5 million. And he was kind of chronicling his experience. He bought, one friend a car. So then the other friend said, well, hey, what about me? I'm as good a friend as he is. Bought another car. And it's like, hey, I haven't even dented it yet. I mean, this is like, we're $40,000, $50,000 in. And before he ended up $20,000 in debt.
Yeah.
$20,000.
Yeah. I bet your family would triple.
Oh yeah,
overnight.
Well, and honestly, his craving was not actually for the money; it was for the approval that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's going to think I'm wonderful, but that only lasts until the money runs out.
Yep.
So,
and I would even say, just on a side note, would you agree with me that you can be very generous and not be very wealthy?
Oh, completely. In fact, mostly it's the people who are not wealthy that are the most generous.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's usually the way it happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, that then segues us into the next form of gambling,
which is
cryptocurrency.
Okay, now this one is the one that's got me curious. I know zero about cryptocurrency. This is the Bitcoin, and what's the other one you're talking about?
Doge or Dodge. I don't know how they say it. I call it Doge.
I think it's Dogecoin.
Now, when this first came out, I remember people talking about it. I thought it was a joke. I thought, this is a scam. This
the
is
Doge or the Bitcoin?
Both.
Yeah.
But
the whole idea.
I was today's year old when I heard of Doge.
Really?
Yeah. But Bitcoin, when it first came out in the cryptocurrency, I was like, this has got to be a scam. Like, you buy this not real thing, and then they just steal your money. That's where my mind went. And I still don't know anything about it.
Well, I'm going to probably make myself out to be the foolish person that I am because I'm still wrapping my mind around it.
You got a lot of Bitcoin, Peter?
No, I do not. I got a Bitcoin in my pocket. That's about all I got. But from my understanding, it's a non-regulated, almost like a banking system, but not quite like a banking system. It's almost like a stock market, but not quite like a stock market. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm not confused at all.
Well,
but the assets are created when more people invest.
That's how, I was telling y'all, like I got into the Dogecoin thanks to my buddy Elon Musk.
Thank you, Elon.
Yep. He was telling us on Twitter, he was like, guys, get the Dogecoin. I never had any crypto. Yeah, I was saying, I'm like, what is crypto? This just sounds weird. Mm-hmm. And but they were like, man, you need to buy some. So I bought a little bit of it then because I got my little Robinhood stock app, and they had it on there. So I bought some. But again, I held my discipline on this one, and it's one of the things I kind of pride myself on the farm. I've always felt like I'm a pretty disciplined marketer, and I don't know anything about crypto. But I was in there, and then Elon was like, it's going to go to the moon. He would put up just a picture of it was a dog. The face of the Dogecoin is a little dog. And he'd put it up, and it would be a rocket going up, and he was saying, to the moon. Well, it got up pretty high, and I sold out. I did pretty darn good. And then I just was like, I'm not playing around with the crypto
That's
anymore.
not going to happen again.
So from what I'm understanding, it's a system that grows depending on how many people buy into it.
Well, that's why, see, every time Elon would be like, buy Doge, the prices would increase on Doge because people were steadily buying in. Yeah. And so the people that benefited were the ones that jumped in at the early because, and a lot of them it reached a point like when people were buying in, it was less than a penny per coin. And by the time it sold, some people were holding out for $1. So, I mean, if you bought it for a half a penny and sold at $1 and you had 1,000 Bitcoins, you made a good bit of money.
Yeah.
But where people were messing up was they were like, it's going to go to $1. And at that point, when it starts getting to that 70, 80 range, people start, like myself, getting out. Yeah. And so then the prices...
More people get out, then it crashes again. Because there's not there's not a treasury behind it. There's no gold bricks or anything.
No. So that was going to be my next point, too. So could we say that we operate on a very realistic Bitcoin in our country? Because we're not on the gold standard anymore.
No.
We're based on fictional numbers from the Federal Reserve right now.
Well, basically, our asset is debt.
Yeah.
And there's been this odd push kind of from the government to push you in the direction of this cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Because then essentially you have no physical money.
And
every bit of your money is this.
They're just numbers.
Yes.
Well, and I think that they have to push this, especially us living in a digital age, because like Russia, China, a lot of these big name economic countries are going back to the gold standard.
Yeah.
You know, and so without us being on the gold standard, they have to sell something.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this push to cryptocurrency, and it freaks me out for two reasons. One, it's not backed up by gold or anything, and two, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
It is confusing.
Yeah, I'm just one of those.
But you did mispronounce one word.
What's that?
You got to go China.
China. Wrong. Wrong.
Yeah, love it. So the key to this whole thing is something called the blockchain.
Okay,
Yeah,
what's
see,
that?
and I don't understand that real well.
I don't either. I asked my AI friend about blockchain. I've heard blockchain, tossed around for the last several years.
So what is this?
It is basically, it is a, shall we say, an internet component. There's servers and software involved, but it is anonymous, as anonymous as it can be. There are,
Levels of ambiguity.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to give out any personal information, but it basically is a space to make transactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it can be money transactions. It can be contracts that are developed.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's worldwide.
Okay.
So you can access the blockchain, just.
So Bitcoin wouldn't be like based on US dollars or UK. It's just Bitcoin price.
Yeah.
And so it's universal across the globe. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense.
It
to me.
converts on your end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the money you put in is US dollars.
Right.
But
But 2 Bitcoin is 2 Bitcoin wherever.
That's it.
Yeah.
and then the value of it, goes up or down. And then when it comes back to you, it comes back in your own currency.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, there's
Gotcha.
apparently there has been, it says around 6 people, I think, that are billionaires off of Bitcoin now.
That's happened.
6.
And there's also
Out of how many people have
It
it?
says it's a 0.00003% chance, basically, of that happening.
Yeah, I would be one of those zeros.
you pretty much have to be obsessed with it
Yeah.
because you have to be tracking it almost minute by minute.
It's funny. I think back when I was probably in middle school to early high school, you started to see Bitcoin, but you'd be playing like a game online or something, and it'd be like free Bitcoin on here, and everybody was like, "What is this bull crap?" And we'd just ignore it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, man, I could have. That
I
was
know.
back when it wasn't
I know.
worth nothing. Now it's worth like 30 grand a coin.
Now, see, I probably did that a billion times, and I'm like, Bitcoin, I don't know what this crap is.
I know I did. Yeah.
I did, absolutely. And then we got into non-fungible tokens.
Now, I heard about the NFTs too. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, NFT is where you buy an icon?
Basically.
You buy
Artwork.
a digital product.
It phased out pretty hard, though, didn't it?
It's
kind of.
making a comeback.
How did it ever phase in?
That's what I always say. I was like, this is a silly thing.
Like, you buy something and it's ultimately worthless, right? Or
You
you turn around
own
and
it.
sell it.
Well, you own it. You
Yeah.
just don't have a physical copy.
Yeah.
You can have like I guess you could set it as a screensaver of your computer.
well,
and be like,
yeah.
check it out.
But you can, there are certain digital products that you could possibly make into a physical product,
Okay.
But the basic is the idea behind it. It's kind of like, a really valuable baseball card,
Yeah.
like it's a one of a kind thing and it's digital.
Yeah.
And so you could probably download it. You could probably print it out, but it's not,
Print it out on a piece of paper.
look at my thing. Yeah. I mean, there are artists
wall.
that are now making digital art.
Yeah.
That
I think
are
Joe
NFTs.
Rogan has bought some.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it has to be something that would be uniquely interesting to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, all of these transactions happen on the blockchain
Okay.
because anybody from anywhere around the world anonymously can make these transactions. And so it doesn't matter if you live in China. It doesn't matter if you live in South America.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, what your government is. And okay, so the big question is this a form of gambling or is it investing really? I mean, all investing is kind of like gambling, right?
I think I have a little bit of just a very tiny amount of stock, but I mean, really stock trading, crypto trading, all that to me is gambling.
It feels like it to me too.
Yeah.
But okay, well, let me get to this first, because the big question is, in the next 20 minutes, where's the Christian perspective on this? Can it be damaging, like playing blackjack or that kind of thing? So there's these two articles, and they absolutely fascinated me, because one is called "A Christian Case for Bitcoin."
Okay.
Now, this is in favor of Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other is "The Christian Case Against Bitcoin."
All right.
And blockchain.
I can't believe that there's opposing thoughts in the
I know.
faith.
It's boggles the mind. Okay, so this article, "Christian Case for Bitcoin," starts out with this line: "A recent article intrigued me with this assertion that it is better to understand Bitcoin as gambling than investment." And here's the quote: "An asset that never pays a dividend but has a price that keeps rising is a bubble. An investor can believe Bitcoin is a bubble and rationally invest so long as she expects to sell out before the bubble pops. But that's not investing, that's gambling, and it's a zero-sum game."
Yeah.
So that's kind of the essence of this article that he wrote. But this guy, I don't know the guy's name. It doesn't say it on here. But it was an article that was released on a very reputable financial website.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, what follows is an article written that makes a basic Christian case for Bitcoin and the blockchain technology behind it. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but here's his basic points. Is that he says it's not necessarily gambling, it's faith. And faith is a necessary part of everything the Christian undertakes.
But what if, isn't it putting your faith in money?
Well, he likens it to investing. It's kind of a financial strategy. You're taking money that you have and you're putting it into something that you expect to have a return on. Okay, so and he makes the case. Okay, so the parable of the talents, right? Who's the only one that got dogged out in the parable of the talents?
One who buried it.
Yeah, the others risked something.
Yeah, and see, that would be my only thing that I feel that I can understand with that is we cannot, as believers, say that we can't take risks with anything, because if we lose anything, then all of a sudden, Lord didn't ordain that, and that's your punishment. It seems like there's risk with anything.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah. I mean, there's risk getting in your car and driving.
Well, I mean, there's a risk with you farming or anyone going to work.
There's risk in putting your money in a mason jar and putting it under your mattress.
Yeah. Or banking institutions,
Didn't know this.
Yeah, you bury it outside. So anyway, and the first point he makes is that this whole blockchain ethos fear is a technological revolution. He says, in just over a decade, crypto has grown from a tiny fad for fringe computer nerds to a major force in today's financial world. That's because blockchain, the underlying technology that is used by cryptocurrencies, has the potential to prove one of the most profound innovations since the printing press.
See,
what do you think about that?
I've kind of disagree with him a little bit here, just because maybe I'm not understanding exactly what he's saying. Because to me, it's almost like he's saying it's a sure thing, and that's why it's not a gamble.
Yeah, well, he's very cautious to say it's a sure thing. But what he's saying is it's opening up opportunities and doors and windows that didn't exist before. He says, already we are seeing blockchains enable a huge variety of different communities to spring up, cooperate, and build something new without the gatekeepers or infrastructure that would have been essential in the past. So he goes on to talk about, addresses some of the most urgent concerns with modern monetary policy, and in that way promises to help protect the poor and most vulnerable by securing property rights, thwarting theft, minimizing inflation, and giving access to a monetary system that traditional banks or financial institutions would not.
And I agree on the inflation, because it's basically an unlimited amount.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, you couldn't... they can't print more Bitcoin and then strengthen or weaken the value.
I was just reading, though, there's caps on it. Like, it can only cap out so high.
On the Bitcoin?
Yeah. Let me see. This is on Forbes. It says the market cap is $1 trillion on Bitcoin.
Oh, that can be in existence?
Yeah. Ethereum is 356.7 billion.
Yeah. What's Doge?
It was on here too. 12.4 billion.
Yeah. Doge was literally a meme.
Yeah.
It was a meme Bitcoin that basically Elon kind of got rolling.
By the way, Elon sort of rhymes with Scubalon. Just so. So.
We heard you pull up in your cyber truck out there.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, Peter, will we start adding Bitcoin to our ways to give?
Honestly, it's interesting you should bring that up because up until very recently, it was almost impossible to give Bitcoin or any other crypto to an institution or a nonprofit.
Yeah.
There's you got to get lawyers involved, all kinds of different. I mean, it's crazy. And then 2 years ago, this guy invented this app and this web service called Overflow. He's a Christian guy, and this is going to be one of the points that he makes in this article. Is basically he was like an executive pastor, something like that, and somebody wanted to give some cryptocurrency to the church, a large amount, and so he's like, I got to figure out how to make this work. And so he spent actually almost a year
designing this.
Going through the process to make one transaction.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he said that we got to fix this.
At the end of that year, they were like, forget it.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, so he developed this system that basically walks you through it. You do in 2 days what it took him a year to do.
Wow.
And it's called Overflow. And so
living in
exactly. And so I actually, I asked one of the financial people at our church. I was like, would we ever be interested in something like this? Do you think it'd be worth it? It's like, oh yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because now literally at the grocery store there are some crypto machines.
Really?
Yeah, you go into Nathan's.
Wait. How is there a crypto machine? Does it spit out digital currency like to your phone?
I think you exchange your crypto for cash.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. I've never used it, but I'm
hold your
almost
phone up to the machine.
Walk into Nathan's. I'm almost positive as soon as you walk, like here in Munford, you go in. I think it's right there to the left. I'm pretty sure.
I got to go see this.
I think there is. If it's not, I could almost swear that they had one in there, a little crypto machine. Yeah.
Well, this guy makes the point, and I think this is a very good point. Because he's talking about Web 3, which is the platform behind all this, the blockchain and all that stuff, and the future of the church. The interesting thing about it is, if you live in a country where it is impossible to give to a Christian organization, or it's impossible to make a particular, financial transaction, or to maybe even get a building permit or a building contract, or all these different kinds of things, you can actually make this happen on the blockchain anonymously, and basically circumvent your government.
Yeah.
So
I'm all about doing that now.
I know.
Now you speak my language.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. So, and then it says, okay, so Web3 is an investment vehicle or mode of currency transfer. And this is very important to know. You could actually transfer currency through the blockchain, crypto, and it comes out on the other end, and nobody else got involved.
Yeah.
There were no fees. There were no credit card fees. There were no transaction fees. There was no regulations. There was no nothing.
Yeah.
It just happened.
This says that there is a Bitcoin ATM.
Wow.
There's one at the Shell Station on Summer Avenue, one in Brentwood.
That's nuts.
I'm pretty certain there's one up here in Nathan's.
Nathan's Cash Saver.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it says non-fungible tokens will open up new doors for Christian art and mutually supporting economies. Crypto assets, basically, is what it is. So it talks about this. It says this allows resources to move freely to aid Great Commission ministries, churches, missionaries inside countries that suppress the church by restricting currency transfers.
That makes sense.
This allows for censorship-resistant and cost-effective transfers of funding to Christians in situations where they need to be supported, but without attracting state attention.
Huh. Like China?
Yep.
When you look, it's like the Tobey Maguire meme, where it's like telling you about this thing that's happened,
great
and he's
power
like,
with great responsibility comes great power.
No, they keep explaining, and it's usually something awful. It'll be like in the Crusades they did this, and Toby's sitting there, and then it'll be like they killed tons of people. And then he's like, I already agreed with you, or I already like it. You don't have to convince me further. And so that's kind of how I am. Now that when you mention circumventing the government, I'm in. Yeah. I am in.
Okay.
So gambling's good, huh?
But
let's all go to Vegas.
But
this guy's going to say you need to be a good little child to the government and not take part in crypto.
Okay, so the last line of this article is very important.
All right.
Because the last line of this article, if I can get back to it.
I did see a part I was going to point out about take heart, we're all going to make it.
Yes.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, he says, take heart, we're going to make it.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Okay,
this guy's like, forget it, you're dead.
It's like okay, so and this
the mark of the beast.
Yes.
He opens up his article. This is called
John Piper write this?
No. His name is Luke Plant.
Okay.
He says, a number of months ago, I read an article that attempted to give a positive take on Bitcoin and blockchain technologies from a Christian perspective, which I strongly disagreed with. Okay, so let's get right into the content in these last 15 minutes, okay? So basically what he says right off the bat, Bitcoin is a cult.
I could see that. I actually can see that.
Straight up right off the bat. Okay, so he says, for Christians to understand and navigate this world, it's important to understand you're dealing with a cult, a movement with its own faith and philosophy and leaders and even language and culture. And he illustrates this by posting a tweet from Bitcoin is Saving. He says, don't let family members change the topic. Holiday dinners are for discussing Bitcoin and onboarding new users. Nobody cares about the weather, pets, movies, etc., etc. Keep the conversation laser focused on Bitcoin.
Now, I have never heard somebody like that before. Like that. I was kind of, the Bitcoin is a cult, because I'm like, it's just kind of an addiction.
Well, it basically has that component as a part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to keep onboarding people in order to keep everything moving forward.
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm just tripping out imagining this scenario. Like he's like, shut up, Susan. I'm trying to tell you about Bitcoin.
Yeah. Why's she Susan?
I don't know. Shut up, Cindy.
Good job. I really feel like my family's too dumb to understand crypto. Or maybe I'm just the dumb one in the family. And if my family starts talking about crypto, I check out.
Well, but somebody eventually is going to educate you on this across the Thanksgiving dinner table.
Oh, okay.
They're going to say, Pat, come on. Come into the future with us. This is the future of the world economy. You just need, okay, what do you say? $100. Come on, $100.
I'm going to say, shut up and pass me the turkey.
It's pretty much a giant pyramid scheme.
Yeah, you wait till the only day of the year where I get to sit here and be a glutton to make me talk.
You need to urge them to buy, and then as it's coming up, get out. Like I say, and let them crash and burn, but you get out.
And Christmas is coming. Man, you might want to do this around Easter, right around everyone's getting their income tax back, all that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a guy named Michael Saylor who has 1.9 million followers on Twitter.
Oh, man. Big shot.
He says, Bitcoin is a swarm of cyber hornets serving the goddess of wisdom, feeding on the fire of truth, exponentially growing ever smarter, faster, and stronger behind a wall of encrypted energy.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I lost.
He lost me at cyber hornets.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. But basically...
sounds scary, though.
He says, if you fell asleep on your keyboard and woke up to find that you had accidentally tweeted 5JUBH678MKTRTYQ, you still would not have produced anything so utterly devoid of truth or meaning as this tweet.
Man, this guy hates
Boom.
this stuff.
Yes, he does. Yet you will never compete with Saylor or his tweets in terms of popularity either. And he says, this is perhaps the extreme end. Okay, so it's a cult. Boom. So then he goes into Christian faith and risk taking. Now, the first guy says everything requires faith. So, we're going to get in, we're going to have faith that everything's going to be good. And he says, then the previous article continues where it talks about risk taking. But the faith it's describing is not biblical Christian faith. Biblical faith is not making a leap into the dark to engage in risky and possibly unethical behavior while praying that God will bless you. Neither is it, you can do miracles when you believe, as DreamWorks puts it. Rather, faith is trusting that God will do what he has promised to do as written in the Bible and thereby being enabled to do what's right. How you feel about that? Okay, says, what does Christian faith look like in practice? Let's say, for example, that I'm struggling financially. I'm tempted to cheat on my tax form. If I remember that God has promised to look after me, and I refuse that temptation, that's Christian faith in action. It's rational because the miracles and resurrection of Jesus give me good reason to believe that his words are reliable.
I told you this guy was like a good little government follower.
See, my only beef with this rationale that he's got is that's like saying the combine's not good. You know, that got rid of a lot of cotton pickers. You know, and that combine, putting your faith in that combine, you know, that's that's the easy way to do it, Logan.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know how I feel about that, but everything when it's new is risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything that's new.
But he's going to go down this road just a little bit more. He's talking about the Bitcoin faith. He says, Bitcoiners carry on believing, despite all the accumulated evidence, that Bitcoin is a dead-end idea, and they have to, as their investment will only be worth anything if they carry on believing and can convince other people to believe. So
that checks out.
He says, he quotes this article. He says, we are convinced that Christians will soon all agree that crypto is not a curse to be feared, but a blessing to rejoice in, fully under the control of the one who has overcome the world. Take heart. We're going to make it.
But see, here's the thing, though, is we already do that with the greenback dollar.
Yeah.
We have our faith completely in a piece of paper that the government says is worth a certain amount. And the only reason why people are freaking out about this is because the internet says it's worth a certain amount, not a government. It's the exact same thing coming from a different mouth.
Yeah. He says it would be easy to pass over that last sentence as mere platitude, but it's actually a deliberate mashup of a biblical quotation and Bitcoin lingo.
Okay.
Straight from Jesus' words in John 16:33, the one who has overcome the world, but finishes with, we're going to make it, which is a phrase that is part of Bitcoin culture. That's how they spur each other on to keep believing. It's a code word. It's conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to make it as a statement of faith without a reason or a rationale or a promise from God. It's a mantra you got to keep repeating, so on and so forth.
Is he offended by the writing on the dollar with the triangle and the pyramid?
I don't even know.
When the what is that?
I mean, the
Illuminati stuff on there.
Yeah, I doubt it. This guy is actually, he comes from financial world. These are his convictions, you know?
Yeah.
And he says that most crypto devotion is not built on faith, but on fear of missing out.
Yeah. Checks out. I can understand that.
The FOMO.
For sure.
Yeah.
If I don't buy it now, I'm going to miss an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
To get rich by doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree with that rationale there.
So then he gets into this biblical understanding of money making, and he goes into the idea that the biblical concept of money making always involves doing something productive. You do something productive, he says,
sow the field and reap the harvest.
Yeah, and he talks about 1 Timothy 5, where it says, you yourselves know how you ought to follow our example. We were not idle when we were with you, nor did we eat anyone's food without paying for it. We worked night and day, laboring and toiling, so we would not be a burden to any of you. So on and so forth.
Yeah.
For even when we were with you, we gave you this rule. The one who is unwilling to work shall not eat. So there he goes. He says that you should earn things.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that.
I don't disagree either. So then he gets into, I'm just going to kind of sum up these last couple of points. So he says, positive outcomes are not a justification for unethical investing. Such positive outcomes might include, 1, I made a lot of money. The large amounts of money that people put in their pockets do not justify money-making schemes, even if they are technically legal. Number 2, I made a lot of money, and I'm going to give it to the church or a charity. No, the ends don't justify the means. I made a lot of money, so now I have more time to give to my family and to prayer and to God's work.
Yes.
It's the same thing. Yeah. And then the 4th one, I made so much money, the sight of my bank balance causes my heart to fill with overflowing praise to God. Please stop. You love money, not God. So essentially, I think he has some legitimate ethical and theological concerns, which kind of leads us to where we're going to, sort of tie all this stuff together. Because, we're talking about gambling on the one hand with the casinos and the card games and all this stuff. We're talking about the gamble that is this new technology of crypto and the blockchain and all this stuff. There's also a component that gets overlooked. Because, oftentimes you'll have your financial planner, and maybe your financial planner will have some crypto involved, maybe, some investments in some stocks and some mutual funds and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. How well do we vet the companies we invest in? Like, how do we know that, we're going to invest in this mutual fund because it's given X and X and X return, and maybe they're funding the largest industry in the world, which is the pornography industry.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Or maybe they're, ripping off, maybe they're doing strip mining, so his point about unethical investing, I think is very well taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, being sort of cavalier, I wouldn't say careless necessarily, because, we're doing some of these things intentionally. Mm-hmm. Me dropping $350 at the slot machine is careless. I just want to go right there.
Yeah.
But most of the time when we're investing or playing the stock market or, all these things, we have no idea what's behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this kind of all ties in, which again, our time is, we had some good chat this one, but retirement, like just in a total sum, I would sum up retirement. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of got some weird views when it comes to that. And I'll tell you why. And that's because I've had...
Okay, so let's turn the corner and say, related to gambling and crypto is this idea of long-term investment.
Yeah.
As, is this gambling? Is it not? Whatever. And we're talking about, there actually is a movement out there right now that says that Christians should not save for retirement.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's your idea about retirement?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I think that it's wise to build up a savings account. I think that it's wise to have kind of a safety net. What do they claim? You should have 6 months to a year or something to live off of.
Yeah.
I think that's good. But I've also had friends that died very young.
Yep.
And so, because I feel like you kind of have these extremes. You have this one end that's like, we're not going to save with anything. We're going to enjoy everything we got. We're going to live life to the fullest. And then you got the other side of the coin, and it's like, whoa, buddy, like you want that motorcycle, wait till you're 65, and once you've lived your life, you've saved up.
I know.
You can lay it over then.
Yeah, then you can start living once you've retired and you've got this money built up.
Yeah, when you're too old to enjoy it.
When you're too old to enjoy it. And I had a guy one time, and I don't remember if I shared this on here, but he was in the machine shop. We were talking. He got offered a good job, but he was working like 13 days in a row, off one day, 13 days on. Right. And I said, man, you going to do it? Money was huge. And he was like, no, man. And I said, dude, that's big money. And he goes, Logan, I'm going to tell you something. And I said, what? And he goes, youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah.
And and so that stuck with me, so I'm like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with planning retirement, but where I kind of struggle with that is, where in the Bible does it tell us to retire? Like, God generally is kind of like work.
I know. I know.
Well, I mean, and also too, everywhere in Scripture where we see people talking about earning a wage, right?
Yeah.
It's for what? It's for survival. It's for building the bare necessities. It's not for going to buy a Lexus and a Cadillac. It's not for any of these outrageous things.
Yeah.
We see it for the essentials, right?
Yeah.
And what are we all really saving for? It's not just for food. And believe me, your television and internet is not a necessity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A brand new vehicle is not a necessity.
Yeah.
You can buy used for the rest of your life.
Blasphemy, man. Internet, I mean.
Well, I mean, seriously, you don't have to have cables. You need running water and electricity.
Yeah.
That's all you need to survive.
Yeah.
And I really feel like our comfort drives us very far.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with someone having a nice vehicle, trying to invest in for a nice future, maybe leave a legacy for their kids. I don't think there's something wrong with that. I think when that becomes the priority center of your life,
it all comes down to intention, right?
Yep.
that's the problem.
When it becomes an obsession.
That is the revolving word of this podcast is intention.
And we had said something earlier when it's like, if I hit this much money, I'll start giving this to the church. I've heard that 1,000 times, and I call BS every time.
You won't.
If you ain't doing it now,
that's
you ain't gonna
right.
start
Because
doing it
if you were serving your church now and tithing and trying to help your church now,
Being a part of the family.
I would believe you.
Yeah.
But if you need that to serve the church, that means that you need a blessing and some kind of abundance to give to God instead of give out a sacrifice.
And you need some financial mentor to show you.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up with this because I love this is a guy named Randy Alcorn.
Good
he
name.
wrote some really, really famous books. He said when a man retires at 65, studies show his chances of having a fatal heart attack is double.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he says, nowhere in Scripture do we see God calling healthy people to retire. So I looked up this other article, and I love what it has to say.
I wonder why it doubles.
Because you get sedentary.
Yeah.
A body in motion stays in motion.
And because you don't have anything, like getting you up.
Purpose.
Shoot, my grandma's 92. She's still getting it.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, there's always exceptions, but like I can think of people that their dads died. Like I mean, within 2 years of their retirement.
They kept paying for the internet and TV.
That is what it was.
Yes.
That's it. Okay, so this is our last article, and I love what it has to say because I think both of you will resonate with this. The evolution of retirement is grounded on an inappropriate response to social change. Before the Industrial Revolution, job opportunities were more fluid. An aging farmer could let his sons do the harvesting while he performed less intensive chores. Mm-hmm. A businessman could hire out the more difficult work and act as mentor to the next generation. The obsession with productivity and economic growth brought on by the Industrial Revolution erased such possibilities.
Yep.
With the new spate of machine-based jobs, older employees became a liability as they made more mistakes and slowed down manufacturing.
Yeah.
Corporations led the government to enforce retirement to get the aging workforce out of the way. 20 years later, Dr. William Osler claimed that while workers from age 25 to 40 were energetic and creative and workers from age 40 to 60 were tolerable, anyone over age 60 was useless. Then came the Great Depression, added insult to injury as younger men needed jobs to support their young families. Eventually, Roosevelt developed Social Security. You could pay into this retirement fund where you could draw a living wage, right, at age 60, leaving gainful employment to the next generation. So, all this happened within the last 150 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This obviously does not encompass the period during which the Bible was written. So instead, the aging working process in the Bible more closely resembled the pre-retirement agrarian culture of earlier America. People performed the jobs they could, largely agricultural, and moved on to something less strenuous when they were physically unable or had enough sons and servants that they didn't have to do the grunt work. An elder was respected for his wisdom and guidance, not given a pension and told to get out of the way.
Yeah.
The Bible endorses this system. Levites older than 50 were officially retired from the strenuous work of caring for the temple and given the position of aiding the younger Levites. Paul gives Timothy an overall idea of aging. Younger men and women should be like siblings. Older men and women should be like parents, so on and so forth. So there's nothing in the Bible that would discourage you from, doing your 401k and investing in the, financial stuff. And honestly, if you're doing that, if you're able to do that, that is fabulous. I have mad respect for you right now. But what this does is for those of us who are not necessarily in that position.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do if I ever retire. I don't really plan on it.
Yeah, you're the pastor. How do you invest in a 401k? You're like, all right, Jesus, I'm just laying out my treasures in heaven.
I was a professional musician all my life, and so I mean, the first time I had health insurance was when I got married to my wife, Karen, who was a teacher at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, man, this is great.
I can get sick
I can go to
now.
a doctor anytime I want.
Yeah.
So retirement, I mean, we never thought about this stuff. There are ways that I can do that, and I may end up doing a little bit of that here and there. But the nice thing about talking about this is that for those who don't have those kinds of opportunities, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. God really is going to take care of you.
I always just say I'm just going to drop dead in the field one day.
No. Yeah, well, you might.
They can just till me in.
Yeah.
Let me just go back to
This is
Roll
what
you
you
right
need to
in.
do, Peter. You need to combine all this together. You need to write a hit song about crypto for Jesus.
There you go.
There you go. There's your retirement
And
plan.
then take it to Tunica.
That's it.
Yes, perform it there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we need to do our typical thing here.
Yeah. Sum it all up.
Yep. Pat, let's start. Yay, nay. Are we lumping it all in one?
It all is kind of a continuum. And this is kind of why I designed it this way, because you start out with basic gambling, then you get into more techno gambling, and now you get into this long-term investment kind of gambling thing because you don't know how long you're going to live anyway.
Yeah.
So how does all this work together? And
My take
Yeah.
for gambling as a whole in itself, I'm going to say go for it. I'm going to say sure. It's okay.
unless
Your intention is something that's would drive you to these extremes. Like if you're just literally okay with taking a risk, possible investment fund, possible future ahead, making plans ahead. Because when I say gambling, let's say not the casino, but let's say you're gambling acres and acres of land, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we're going to call that a gamble. I'm saying that's okay, but I'm going to say that taking risks is okay. How about that?
yeah okay.
Taking financial risks is okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel comfortable with being able to say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the same intention as the driving factor. And, like when I went to Vegas and I spent the $20, I did not have a feeling of conviction.
Right.
And that's where we've talked about that on here before.
Mm-hmm.
If what you're doing gives you a feeling of conviction, I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that word tonight, but it's convicting me. If you're having conviction from doing this, there's probably a good chance you ought to not be doing it.
There's a verse of scripture, and I couldn't look it up for you right now, but it says, if the heart convicts you of it, then it is sin.
Yes. And that's how I feel. If you can go and you can play some blackjack or whatever, or you can invest in your 401k and you can do all these things and you don't feel conviction and it's not an addiction of yours that you are like, you're not waking up in the middle of the night like, man, I should have put on black on that table.
Or man, I shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have bet my home. I'm sleeping in a box right now.
And I'll tell you where the problem with me lies is there's so many fine lines and so many gray areas that we can say, is this gambling? Is this not gambling? I'm not comfortable with it because I can sit here and honestly say for someone to gamble in a 401k, investing in their future, someone compared that to someone who goes to the casino habitually, mortgages their
it's
house.
not the same thing.
I can't put those two together. So, so like I said, comfortably, I can say taking financial risk is okay.
It is, but the addiction is where I lump them together because there are people that are addicted to their retirement plan.
Sure,
it's weird.
Sure.
Like there is things you can become addicted. You can make a good thing bad.
Oh, absolutely.
By like how much you obsess over it, and it becomes your idol, literally, to be like, I'm gonna have this much, this, and like you obsess over it. So
what about you?
That's going to be the word that ties everything together for me is that word obsession.
Yeah,
Fixation. Because anything that you obsess over or fixate on in this world that has to do with money, possessions, success, relationship status is never going to be what you think it is.
Yeah.
If you finally get there.
Yeah.
You're going to cross the line to retirement. You're going to have your big party. You're going to have everything all set up, man. You get your 401k all in line. You're going to start drawing everything. It's going to be good. And you're going to be sitting there at home going, I'm supposed to be super happy right now.
Yeah,
and it's just not. It's just not doing it for me.
Yeah,
you might be comfortable, you might be okay, but you're supposed to have this like big euphoric experience, and it's the exact same thing with hitting the slot machine or hitting the roulette wheel. It's the exact same thing as I mean, you're on your phone app all the time, seeing how your crypto's doing because you're trying to pull the right lever at the right time. And it's this, any time that you get fixated on anything to do with possessions or money or material goods, it's going to let you down.
Yeah. You're going to be 67. You finally bought a Harley Davidson. You get on it, and now it hurts your back.
That's exactly right. You're going to have a MyPillow to sit on.
Yes.
That's it.
How cool is it going to look with that big MyPillow underneath your butt?
I know. This is kind of a different episode because we got into we covered some territory.
Yeah.
But it really does come back to, it's all about the Benjamins.
Yep. It is.
And
we could do so many episodes on money.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we just covered that in our Bible class, in First Timothy. It's for the love of money.
And it says, those who desire to be rich, that is an obsession with riches. He said, instead, let them be rich in good works and good deeds. And I think that really is kind of the message for all of us is, whatever you are, whatever you have, that's what God wants you to have today. And He may want you to have something more next week, but not if it's going to hurt you. Not if it's going to let you down.
And is God really going to trust you with more if you don't appreciate what you got?
No, and if you don't handle it well.
Yeah.
And if you're obsessed with that, He's not going to give you more of what you're going to obsess over.
I think that's more of the story with the talents.
Yes.
Is like you wasn't happy with what you got.
That's
you didn't
exactly
take it and use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And He did everything out of fear.
Yep.
That's it. So, there you go, folks.
That was a good one.
Gambling is not.
It's not going to straight line to hell.
Gambling is not a sin until it is.
Yep.
There you go. About that? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So you know what to do,
guys.
Follow us.
Follow, subscribe.
Take a gamble on us.
That's it.
Hit that button. Don't run away. You don't have to fold them on us.
Don't count your money. There'll be time enough for counting when you hit that button and the deal is done.
That's right.
That's it.
All right. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll see you.